All right. Welcome back.
Really? Was that necessary?
All right. Little Matthew McConaughey going on. Seeing as that Oscars are coming up this week.
Oh my gosh, they are.
Yeah, they're this Sunday.
Okay.
I don't know if this episode is going to be released before or after that. I'm not sure. But
wait, why are they posting about it now?
Wait, what?
I see people like posting about it.
Because it's the lead up to it. It's like it's the marketing campaign. They want to make a big deal out of it since ratings have been poo-pooing for the past 5, 6, 10, 15, 20 years.
All of the years.
Yeah, it's just because the Oscars are representative of Hollywood, and Hollywood has been kind of on the decline on being the zeitgeist of what people care about culturally, especially in America. Because the rise of TikTok, rise of YouTube, all these digital kind of distribution. Anyway, how's it going?
It's good. Yo, what's
going on? Your eyes glaze over.
Yeah, right? Thank you for catching that. What's going on with your face, dude?
What are you talking about?
Because last week you had no hair. You looked like a naked mole rat. This week...
Did you say naked mole rat?
Well, yeah, because you've been grizzly most of the time.
So for the past few years, I've been kind of like sporting a lot more, grizzly look. I think it was funny because I guess I was inspired by Malcolm X. My roommate was like, yeah, like facial hair makes you look more mature and manly. It's like makeup for men. So I was like, during the pandemic, I was like, why not try to let it grow out, see how it looks. And I think it was looks pretty good, if I do say so myself. But yeah, last week when I was coming over to prepare, I was like shaving, right? Because it was getting a little too scruffy looking. And
is there such thing as a too scruffy looking?
Yeah, like when you see me regularly, it's kind of cleaned up a little bit. I'm doing a little grooming here and there, It's not
is it? Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Anyway, I came and then I shaved it with a 1 instead of a 3. And then I was like, oh shit. So I was like, all right, well, man, as well freaking even it out, right? Because I'm not going to be weird on camera with one side with a 3 and one side with the 1.
So you got a lot of patches going on.
Yeah. So I'm letting it grow out again. This is like a week of growth.
How long does it take before the patches are completely covered?
So what I have to do is I have to kind of cut the patches, cut through.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I do. I shave the patch. That's how I clean it up a little bit. It takes a little bit of, takes a little bit of time. It takes a little bit of effort.
I got a couple patches too. Can you see?
No, not really.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if that's something you want to be proud of either.
Hey, man. Hair, it's there.
Wasn't there that Mexican or that Spanish painter, something Frida
Kahlo? Frida Kahlo sure. With the
yeah, but she also kind of had a mustache too.
A lot of people have mustaches. It's like people have hair. It's a thing,
right? But I think
society shames us to remove all our fucking hair.
All right, let me ask you though. So, have you seen Bodies?
No.
So there's this movie that I saw with, Ivan watched it last year or whatever. So it was a pretty popular movie, I guess, an A24 movie that, had Gen Z kids that were in, it was like a horror, comedy movie. And one of them just had armpit hair, that was a woman. And I'm like, all right. But
does that offend you?
It doesn't offend me, but it's is that a thing now?
Are you kidding me? It is such a thing. Women are allowed to have hair. I think maybe 10 years ago, I think that there was a movement for women to just fucking have their hair. French women who are loved in America.
Sure.
They're all about armpit hair. And dude, I was on Clubhouse, 2 years ago, and this one guy was like, I love hair on women. And he would be please telling his girlfriends to not get rid of any of their hair. He loved all the hair on them because that's where your pheromones are. And that's where...
Pheromones?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah.
All right. To each their own, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
so clearly
I'm an old fart.
Old?
When I was back in my day.
What, okay, when women don't have hair? It's when they pass menopause. That's when
I'm not saying
their
they
body
shouldn't have hair. Genetically, yes, I know that women have hair. I'm just saying aesthetically.
Your opinion.
Well, my opinion, yes. But
is it your opinion, though, or is it something that society has imbued upon you. So you don't actually think that way. It's just a filter that you've like lived with.
Kind of like capitalism.
Okay, no, we're talking about hair right now. Perhaps think about it.
Anyway,
Okay, moving on. What's going on with that shirt?
oh, so this is another Breaking Bad. I think this is our 4th episode now. So this is the 4th one that I got. This is Vamanos Pest. You've seen Breaking Bad, right?
Yeah, because of
seem
you.
So confused.
I
right
have
now.
no idea. Oh, no, I
is-
don't know.
This is the one, in the 5th season where they're looking to create their own lab again. So, they can't just do it out in the, they don't have their lab anymore because they blew it up. So they got to go house to house and pretend like they're an extermination crew.
Oh,
but
and they
then
have to go.
cook the methamphetamine in there.
Oh, you know what? I should really rewatch it. I was actually thinking about it
Yeah.
because I don't remember the storyline.
So the reason I wanted to wear it today leads kind of into the current. Do you want me to go with your current event thing or my current event thing first?
Well, my current event thing happened like 2 weeks ago because I was watching SNL and I thought it was really funny, but then I forgot what it was. But again, it was from 2 weeks ago, so it's not so current.
All right. So then I guess.
Oh, wait, pause. Happy International Women's Day.
That is today.
Yeah.
And what did we learn about International Women's Day today?
It started in the early 1900s.
So I'm aware that an International Women's Day existed and whatever. So
And whatever. What?
what does that mean for you? I guess practically speaking, like today.
I'm very fortunate because I'm in an occupation that allows me to really deep dive and learn more.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about bringing awareness and how to elevate people, how to bring everyone up to the same level so we can live equitably. And I think it's a very exciting time for us because we get to really re-examine the structures and systems we live in and have those conversations and help people level up and live in a world where we're able to have equal access and figure out at what point or what we need in order for people to have actual equal access.
I mean,
What you gonna say about that, huh?
it kind of. I mean, like that feels so corporate speak though. Like, how do you feel about it outside of all of that?
I mean, I could get pissed off and just be like, dude, women aren't going to be equal for another 300 years, supposedly. That's the timeline.
Wait. What? Who made that timeline?
That's what the statistics and the people who are forecasting with this wage gap still where it's at. Women will not be equal with men for another 300 years.
But where did they even like? How did they extrapolate that?
I believe they're pulling their metrics and data. So you can see when people are offering and giving data, right? You can see the trend. So what companies are actually closing the gap versus companies that aren't closing the gap. And even today, with millennials, not millennials, oh my God, with Gen Z leaving schools, women are actually saying that they project that they're actually going to make this amount of money, which at the end of the day is $5,000 less than what men are projecting that they're going to make leaving college. It's so there's this gap that women and men have that we need to bridge. Like, why are women first off saying, oh yeah, I'm going to make like $50,000, and guys are coming out of college saying, I'm going to make $55,000. Like, why is that gap there?
I mean, I think this would lead into a larger debate, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to capitalism. When you look at the Marxist labor theory of value, it's all about how is value created in society, and it's all about certain commodities and certain. It's complicated. I don't want to get into right now, but
sounds like you do.
Under capitalism, I would say yes. Your 300-year thing is probably accurate. Assuming capitalism is around in 300 years. I don't think it will be. I think we'll either have socialism or we'll all be dead.
Planetary collapse.
Yeah, planetary collapse or socialism. That's pretty much the only two outcomes I see in 300 years. Where now this discussion becomes moot because, then we won't really have this discussion of how, like, who's making more, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Because ultimately, if everyone owns the means of production, then everyone's like, anyway. But
moving on. So do you think the world is going to collapse via self-destruction or meteor?
self-destruction is more likely if it were to collapse. I'm not saying it's 100% going to collapse. I hope not, obviously. But I would say if it were to collapse, it would probably be most likely to nuclear annihilation.
Well, another tangent off of that. If a meteor was coming to hit us, do you think we have the resources to blow out the sky before it hits us?
Oh, so you're talking about the Armageddon movie.
Maybe.
I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, it depends on the size of the meteor, how early we're able to detect it, and, the technology that we have at that particular moment in time.
Do you think we have a shield that can go up to stop any debris from hitting the planet?
No. Probably not in another, at least 300 years or so.
When women are fed equally
Exactly.
to
When we either have socialism or we're all dead. But in the socialism outcome, we will all have women's parity.
And protection.
So we will have the force fields all around.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Like Star Trek.
Dude, I love Star Trek.
Star Trek actually is it is communism, right? Because nobody has any need for, more than any other person, because everyone's material needs can be taken care of. You could just zap food or whatever.
I know, it's amazing.
Whatever. So that's kind of the model of what communism ultimately wants to achieve.
Oh, that's nice.
But,
we'll be flying in the sky.
Yeah. But capitalists just get in the way of that. They want to have more money than everyone else.
Okay. Or they'll help fund that future. Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Current events. Go ahead. Take it over. What's going on in the world?
So, the United States, as you know, is participating. I mean, that's why I kind of chose this shirt, because this is clandestine how they're, secretly going from house to house, cooking their meth. I feel like the United States is trying to do that right now.
I was like, oh my God, the United States is cooking meth?
Well, not literally cooking meth, but they're doing clandestine stuff, especially with the war in, this is alleged. Don't take me off YouTube, people. I'm saying what the reports are. So let me just back up a little bit. So a few weeks ago, or a year ago or so, I think late 2022, there was this pipeline called the Nordstream pipeline that led from Germany to Russia. And so that was how they transported natural gas. It was a project that cost probably tens of billions of dollars. And it was just a way for, natural gas to be exported from Russia to Germany, right? That was Germany uses natural gas for their energy needs, right? And so when this war was all happening, the United States made several comments saying this Nord Stream thing is bad for whatever, blah, blah, blah. Because they were basically rationalizing, if Russia is able to kind of convince Germany, hey, don't get into this conflict with us, then they'll be oh yeah, we want this natural gas. So yeah, sure. That's a good deal for us. And so Russia, obviously wants to use that as a play, right? If during this Ukraine-Russia conflict. But the United States was saying this is a bad thing, blah, 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 because they want to keep the EU in line with their geopolitical needs or wants or whatever. And so late last year, something blew up the Nord Stream pipeline, right? There was reports that it was blown up. There was
last year?
Yeah.
Pre-war, post-war?
Post-war, so post-invasion. So then in the initial reports, they were saying, "Oh, Russia did it. Russia's responsible."
Why would Russia do that?
Right? Exactly. So any rational person would be
no, it's Ukraine.
Right. Or yeah,
I'm just kidding.
It's it's Ukraine. Ukraine and the United States have more of an incentive to blow this up, right? But then the reports at the time were saying, "Oh, it was Russia," or Putin did it, blah blah blah. I mean, they weren't saying 100%, but they were blaming Putin, right? They weren't saying we're 100%. There was no Department of Defense saying we're 100% sure, right? So, they're covering their own bases, right? But the reporters and everything, the pundits were all kind of on that line because they're all continuing with that line, right?
That's so
exactly.
silly.
So then a few weeks ago or a month ago, there's this journalist called Seymour Hersh, who actually
pretty
won
big name.
You know him.
The name, yeah.
Wait, how do you know?
I don't know.
Okay, so yeah, actually, it has to kind of do with you a little bit.
A normie or Vietnamese? What you gonna
So
say?
he's not Vietnamese, but do you know about the My Lai massacre in Vietnam?
No.
So I'm not going to go into it. You can. It's a little too crazy, but it was a massacre that happened in My Lai, Vietnam, by the American army. I forgot when it was, but like it was like so horrific. They killed civilians. They killed like whatever. Like they were unarmed civilians that they just massacred, and like I think there was like worse atrocities. But basically, the United States denied this ever happened.
Oh, I think I know about this.
For years or decades, whatever. Even Colin Powell kind of like poo-pooed on like the situation. But then Seymour Hersh, he won a Pulitzer Prize for basically exposing this massacre and exposing these things. So he won like this Pulitzer Prize in journalism for kind of like being this investigative journalist. So like a month ago or a few weeks ago, he comes out with a report saying that this was caused by the United States Navy.
Aw, shit. What?
Yeah. So he was saying that he was explaining all these kind of like how it happened and like what like the exact steps were and like how like, you know.
Is someone gonna kill him?
So at first, the United States did everything they could to kind of like ignore it or not even talk about it or whatever. And then they relied on OSINT to debunk it. So do you know what OSINT is?
No.
It's like open source intelligence.
Oh, okay.
Basically, you know how like sometimes there are like reality shows where it's kind of like a not a reality show, but like a documentary, like a true crime documentary, right? Where people on Reddit are like, oh, this is what happened. Like they do all this research and whatever. That's basically OSINT. It's like people on message boards, whatever, being like, oh, well, like, let me check this thing. It was like kind of like,
Oh, that's awesome. I would totally want to recruit that.
so, but what the United States was saying, oh yeah, look at what they said that debunked this thing. But it's not like actual reliable debunkers. They're just like
conspiracy theorists.
Yeah. So that's the
Like
first
you.
thing they tried. Okay. And then the second thing they tried was in the news cycle was just talking about the Wuhan lab leak. I think we talked about this last year.
Yeah,
last
where they
week.
oh yeah, because they rather than saying oh it was a mistake, they like put the name because they're like, oh, Wuhan lab leak, not just lab leak.
But then when you look at the fine print, it's like the Department of Energy and the FBI. And then the FBI, obviously, we're not trusting it at all. But Department of Energy, when they said like, oh, but we can only assign this probability low confidence. So it's like they're also trying to cover their bases just in case they're wrong. But they're saying, oh, there's some evidence that it came from a Wuhan lab leak. So like obviously they're just like trying to throw shit at the wall and see what sticks.
Okay,
And-
your point is
And now, so my point is now they're trying this story where they're saying, oh, it's a pro-Ukraine group that did it, the terrorist pro-Ukraine group. But like the
an
operation,
American pro-Ukraine group.
right? But the operation was so like intricate and like hard to pull off. Like this is like you needed to put like heavy explosives on this thing. This wasn't like
I get
you
it.
know,
I
just,
get
like-
it. It's billions of dollars. Trust me,
Right.
I understand. It's amazing how journalists could find out that information. I'm wondering what sources were happy to like.
Right. So
give
he
that.
does rely on sources that he doesn't name. Obviously, I'm sure
Yeah.
like he has to protect whatever. But I think the information is credible enough to at least give it some weight. Again, YouTube, I'm not saying one way or another, but like, you know, it's credible enough to at least look into it. And the fact that journalists, they have been just like dismissing it wholesale, saying like the United States,
Like what journalists though?
like most mainstream people,
Like what mainstream? Are you talking about Fox News?
like
Everyone?
Fox News actually, I think, is giving it the most weight out of all of them. But the United States government, like, official line is that it's a bunch of, like, horseshit or whatever. But they don't exactly say, like, oh, this is why this is wrong. It's just say, oh, this is wrong. Like, you know, like, if you're trying to discredit something, you would point out, oh, this is wrong because of X, Y reason. Like, this is wrong, whatever. But they never do that. It's just like, oh, this is just like a fabrication, whatever. But it's a very intricate like article. It's not like, oh, they did it. You know, it's like explain. It's like I can send you the Substack link later. But like,
You're gonna be mad about what I'm thinking about right now.
what?
I'm thinking about in Harry Potter when they're trying to discredit Harry.
Yeah.
And they're writing about him in all the newspapers. But then the Tattler, which he's like giving his own rendition of what's happening, that Voldemort's back. But no one believes him. And this again, this news article, is it
This
taken
is like
as
in the fifth
reliable?
book, right? I feel like
Is it the fifth book? No, it's the
Chamber of Secrets. No,
Chamber of Secrets.
no.
is
I
the
mean Order of the
second one.
Phoenix. Order of the Phoenix.
No, it's after Sirius dies.
Oh, so that must be Half-Blood Prince.
Wait, is it? Is
Right?
it Half-Blood Prince? Oh my God, the fact that I'm questioning my Harry Potter knowledge
I think
right
he
now.
dies in 5, Order of Phoenix.
Oh no, that it's the fifth one.
Okay.
It's the fifth one where they're discrediting
Yeah.
him, and no one.
Even though I hate Harry Potter, I still know,
You
too much
knew
about Harry
it!
Potter.
But yeah, they're trying the fact that only Fox News is like, oh yeah, this is actually credible, and some liberals might be like, nah, Fox News, but if that shit's
Exactly.
right, then that shit's right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think people have gone so far that they are willing to discredit anything the other side says, even if it has a kernel of truth to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why too many people are like just trusting either side when they should be like
Doing their own fucking
expanding
research.
Yeah, exactly. Actually reading this thing for themselves
Uh-huh.
to see what they think about it. And yeah, I think as things heat up with, Russia, but what also they're trying to like start to heat stuff up with China, because recently there was this thing where South Korea. Do you know about the comfort women situation?
What?
So yeah, this will interest you as a feminist, right? So during World War II, the Japanese had a specific kind of like system for their Imperial Japanese Army. They would take women from China, Korea,
Oh, I think I knew this.
and the Philippines, just like women all over Asia, and then make them like sexual slaves, really,
Yeah.
like this program. So then, after World War II, there were the Nuremberg trials for Germany. They had to apologize for all this Nazi stuff, whatever.
We're sorry.
Yeah, there was a Tokyo War Crime Tribunal, but it was not as extensive. And for the longest times, because Asian lives don't really matter in the West, nobody really cared about it. They just wanted Japan and Korea to get along despite all this bullshit that happened, right? And so these comfort women, they're like now in their 90s, right? They're like old as fuck. And so, but they've been fighting for, I mean, yes, like part of it is like compensation or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it's at this point, it's not really even about the money. It's about like making Japan say like, yeah, you guys did this.
Yeah, acknowledge,
whatever.
take accountability.
They don't even like acknowledge it. They try to like hide it in their textbooks or whatever. There's a lot of other atrocities that they try to hide in their textbooks. And so like the Japanese official line is like, oh, there was just all unfortunate stuff during war, and it wasn't like a big deal. So now our current president, or not I'm not South Korean, but current president,
I mean, you are.
Yoon Suk Yeol is the current
Yes,
president.
yeah.
So right now America wants them to work together against China, right? So
Why?
because like they want more of their allies like Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan and the Philippines to kind of like all join this almost kind of like an Asian NATO against China, right? So, this rift between South Korea and Japan, or both Koreas and Japan, has existed since, the World War II ended, because they tried to basically annex and like culturally genocide our people. And so what President Yoon is basically doing is saying, oh, our companies are going to pay these comfort women for us now, so we can consider this matter settled.
What? That makes no sense.
Yeah. So, there are a lot of Koreans pissed off about this right now. And I think like the United States is just trying to shove this through. They like in their articles on, in Reuters or whatever, Washington Post, New York Times, they call it, President Yoon is going to resolve things of the forced labor that happened in Japan. Like it was really just like sexual slavery, right? And other kinds of slavery. It wasn't just like forced. Like I feel like they're trying to use forced labor to be like, oh, now South Korea and Japan are friendly now, so that's great. When it's really kind of like testing a lot of people's patience.
All right, let's change topics. It's fucking depressing, dude. God. I thought you said you were going to say something positive.
Yeah, until, I've been past, socialism or nuclear holocaust. So, I that's how I see the world. I don't know what's going to stop it unless we become communists.
Oh my gosh. Did you hear about Salesforce and them incorporating Einstein GPT?
No, what's Einstein GPT?
It's their own like AI system that they're incorporating to help their clients and customers help like have an AI system.
Wait, so what does Salesforce do for its customers? What's that?
To recruit more, market more. You know what? I'm gonna have to do research on this. I'm gonna have to fact check my current event. I was like, it's a headline I wrote.
Yeah.
I read.
So is that necessarily a positive thing, I guess?
I really like the fact that AI is available because it takes out unnecessary admin stuff that might really put a hold on a bind on a person's day. Because not to say we didn't learn how to communicate well, but I don't think a lot of people have the experience that allows them to easily create business professional kind of text, and it frees up a lot of time to have creative, higher level thinking happening when you can take that admin thinking out. Although again, you have to always check AI because it could have faulty information, and you don't want to ever send that out.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I've been actually talking to Ivan a little bit about AI ChatGPT. He's been saying that he's been using AI to help craft, I guess, stories.
Oh, I know.
It's not really, it doesn't do all of the work for you,
No.
but it can like create a little backbone for you to like kind of work off, which is kind of like helpful because in the beginning stages, sometimes you just want a little bit of inspiration. But I guess the flip side is if AI is doing all this stuff, you know, I feel like, you know, now it's all free and whatever. But what happens when they want to monetize it?
Oh, they're for sure going to want to monetize it.
And
I
then-
think,
exactly.
I forget who it was. It might be Microsoft or someone who will allow you to put it part of your Outlook or it's part
Right,
of
right.
Outlook. They're going
Right.
to make you, they're going to charge you for it. So
Right. So
if
then
a business is willing to do it, I mean, businesses, it's
exactly.
a smart
So
investment.
what happens is businesses will adopt it, right? And then they'll be like, wait, we have 100 admin people, but with this AI thing, maybe we only need 10 admin people.
That's already happening. Are you kidding me?
Right. So I'm just saying this is accelerating the process to which we all become stuck in the matrix.
I want to no. I think we have the opportunity. Number one, layoffs aren't always going to happen. If AI takes over and is able to help with admin work, guess what? Management has the opportunity to upskill their employees so that they can use them in a different way to help make their not only company more strategic but more agile. And also keeping a person in and upskilling them allows for more company loyalty and retention.
Right. But how many people are going to be upskilled? Let's say there's 1,000 people.
If you're willing to upskill 1,000 people, upskill 1,000 people. If you have the option,
Companies are not going to want to upskill 1,000 people if they say if they have 1,000 people that are doing the same job, right? And they're like, oh, this AI thing we'll do only 100 people, and we'll upscale these 100 people. But what's the use of these 900 people now?
there's other things that they could be doing to help the company.
But what if that's their only role in their company right now, and they figure out that they can only do it with 100?
Well, again, that's where a strategic
Okay, here's
company
here's
owner.
another-
No. I'm not done talking.
All right.
Okay. Yes, a person could fire, but do you know the cost of what firing a person is and then trying to rehire someone for a position that you need?
But then they don't even need it anymore. That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm not saying that, dude. You're not listening to me. Okay.
No, you're
it's
not listening to me.
It's not an admin role. Say you're an admin person
Okay.
and I no longer need admin, but guess what? I need someone in marketing and you have great transferable skills and a lot of potential and I know you fucking work hard.
Right.
So guess what? I'm
But
going to have you
Are
start-
all 1,000 of those people have those marketing skills that can be transferable?
Again, it's not all marketing. It's what the company needs. It's what the business needs.
Right.
So if
But
I
what
need
the
you
business-
to do...
Okay, here's a simpler example, right? You know McDonald's, right?
Yes.
And you know that the way they've been operating is that they need certain people at the register, certain people at the fry station, certain people whatever. But what if they can make a McDonald's that just does all of that, and they just basically need one manager to make sure all the machines are running right?
Well, it's kind of what Japan does, right?
Right. But what I'm saying is, now do they train those 10 other, like, let's say it takes 20 people to run a McDonald's, right? Do they take those 19 other people and upscale their skills? No, they're just firing them. Yes, it might cost a lot of money and like severance and whatever in the beginning, but they're like, in the long run, we only need one guy.
I mean, what does McDonald's ultimately want to do? Because a lot of times, why does McDonald's thrive in certain areas? It's because it's a community center for some people. It offers Wi-Fi and a safe space for people to go to not only work, meet their friends, church groups meet there, bikers meet there. It's just a common area where a lot of people can go to and just feel like not only can they afford the food there, but they can hang out there without any type of discrimination or just prejudice. So
How does that relate though to the argument of the employment?
the employment in terms of what can McDonald's become, if it just becomes like a vending machine, no one wants to hang out at a vending machine. And I mean the model in which McDonald's could adopt versus what it could be, like no one wants to hang out in a fucking laundromat, right? Unless they're doing laundry, but then they get the fuck out. But if you're creating a space, a community space that people can come hang out, then that's different. And so in that situation, you'd actually need,
That argument actually doesn't apply anymore because they're actually making them less community spaces. They're getting rid of the playhouses. They're getting whatever. They're making all these McDonald's really corporate these days. So
I'd have
they're
to go
actually
and go do
moving
research about
in the
that.
You can do the research. I've done the research. They're
About
actually,
McDonald's? You've done the
yes,
research about
yes,
McDonald's.
I've done research about McDonald's. Surprisingly, even if it may surprise you, they are making their. It's funny you say that actually because it actually is somewhat now of a more of a real estate company rather than a fast food company. They just use those fast food to like generate income, whatever. But they're really like now that they have all these locations, that's how they generate income. By using these locations as food distribution centers. So people come to McDonald's because the food is cheap enough, it tastes pretty good, and like people on the working class, whatever, they go to it. They don't go to it to have this community experience, despite what you might think, because like they are getting rid of those things and they're still generating more. I mean, as much income as they were.
Again, fact check that for next time.
All right. Well, I mean.
Oh wait, okay. So, but like you're saying, I mean, I can understand where you're saying that they're turning into real estate centers. So what?
Well, I guess like my overall argument, besides McDonald's, it's just like, yes, you might be able to, if out of those 20 people, maybe it's not going to just be one person working. Maybe you get 5, right? And then maybe you upscale those 5 into more managers or whatever. But there is a limited amount of like upscaling or a limited amount of opportunity where humans are actually needed anymore. Like, for example, back in the 1950s, right? Or 1960s, you watched Mad Men, right?
No.
Okay. Well, back in the day, if you wanted to get something printed, whatever, you needed a typer, right? There was no computers, there was no whatever. So you had all these people typing, whatever. That was a job, right? And, let's say a law or an advertising firm required like every secretary, whatever, needed to type whatever. You need basically one secretary per kind of like, advertising agent or whatever, because like that's the amount of stuff that you needed to type out for them. And so, obviously, when the computer came out, or, personal computers and printing, whatever, that job, like people would just like typing was their entire job, right? So yes, like if you had 100 typers that was their entire job, yes, you would only require, let's say 10 of those, whatever. Yes, those 90 people, some of them had transferable jobs, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the vast majority had to probably get another skill or find another job entirely,
And they found another skill and found another job.
But what I'm saying is that ultimately, if AI becomes powerful enough, it will, and strong enough, like it will be able to do any person's job. Like it's already like doing journalists' job better than journalists. If you type like, give me an article about this, blah, 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 it just like spits it out immediately.
Dude, what are you talking about? People have been able to do that for forever. If you go onto LexisNexis and you type in something, guess what? It's going to populate information that someone's already written.
No. But it'll create like if you give it like certain data points or whatever, it'll just like create an entire article. So like, how like there are beat writers, whatever, they kind of just like report certain information and that's their job. These computers can just do that if you like, and give a different spin on it for like different, regions and areas. And so like these people, I mean, there's a lot of anxiety of these people being like, oh shit, like we're not going to have a job soon because these computers can write our stuff for us.
Meh. I mean, there is, of course, that fear, but I mean, ultimately we are still human. And if you've ever written, I mean, until it gets to the point where ChatGPT gets so good. Yeah, come on, we could be.
I think we're getting close though.
We could be at that place where it's that one movie. What is it? Something 3000.
I think you're talking about Space Odyssey 2001 or something.
No, not that one. The other one.
3000. I love you 3000.
No, not that one. That was such a sweet scene.
What's 3000? I don't.
No, is it 3000?
only
Oh no,
the
I'm
Space
thinking about.
Odyssey
No,
2001
I'm thinking about Blade Runner.
Oh, 20.
Whatever. You know,
2049.
when he had that AI girlfriend who could like.
Yeah.
Where Anna de Armas was all like, I'm a robot.
Yeah.
Lover, I love you. I mean, that's pretty fucking dope, and we'll get to that.
I don't know if that's dope. That movie was supposed to be a dystopia. It wasn't supposed to be like, this is dope, guys.
I mean, to have that technology, let's be real, that's pretty dope.
But the implications of that world of like,
let's be real. If we allow AI to get so big, we're already allowing the world to destroy itself, or aka we're destroying it. So are we really is AI gonna destroy us, or is it us gonna destroy us?
I don't know. I mean, as you know, in 300 years
we're gonna be gone or equal pay. Okay, let's get started. Okay, ready?
Sure.
Okay. What is fascism? I know it's quite broad, but dude, I started listening to Madeline Albright's book, and it's fascism. And I was
Wait,
like,
when was she Secretary of State again?
ChatGPT. Let's see.
By the way, have you heard of Stephen Hawking?
Yeah.
So
I mean,
like,
yeah.
so like before he died, like a year before he died.
Oh, he's dead?
Yeah, he died in like 2017 or 2018.
Oh, I'll fact check that too.
But he was saying like how he was like, yeah, AI might be good for humanity, or it might improve all these things. But the way people own these products and these whatever, I forecast that it'll just make the rich even richer. And
oh my gosh. So I was reading an article about how have I talked to you about this? The gap in what CEOs make has just
since 1980, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk. I mean, like, it's because of the Reagan, like the stuff we talked about last week, the Reagan kind of deregulation. Basically, the income inequality is almost kind of like very reminiscent of the early 1900s. That's when like, John D. Rockefeller, the robber barons, whatever, kind of like became like super trusts that monopolized the entire like economy, right?
It's crazy.
Then during the New Deal, they put in a lot of regulations against that to like prevent that stuff from happening again. But then after the Vietnam War, which kind of crippled the American economy, what people did was like, or what the solution was like, oh, we need to deregulate the corporations so they can like make more money, whatever, for us again. So in the short term, it actually did like generate like short-term gains for the American economy. But then like the corporations started to get stronger and stronger and stronger.
Crazy.
And it's repeating kind of the same process.
So what's going to happen?
Nuclear Holocaust or socialism?
Okay, she was Secretary of State January 23rd, 1997 to January 20th, 2001.
Okay.
Can you believe that's the first time a woman was like in a bigwig role?
Wait, really? First time?
Yeah, she's the first Secretary of State. Female.
All right. But I mean, like,
all right.
I mean, it's just like, how is that great when like Secretary of States and Secretary of Defense have just been like total imperialists, right? They've run the.
Her family had to flee the freaking Holocaust, dude.
Okay, I mean.
Okay, where are these noises?
Obama was black and he killed Gaddafi. So what do you want from me?
Yo, let's not talk death, okay? Let's keep this on the up.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that's what these people do. You know,
who are these people?
Secretary of States. What do you think Secretary of States people do?
They're the ones who do all the foreign affairs.
Right. So what is the foreign affairs that America is
I'm an ambassador. Let's have a ball. Okay, come over and eat.
But like, what is America's interest with other people's countries, would you say?
Their goods. Them buying stuff from us.
Yeah. It's like, see, you've done. Okay, but like, not only their goods, but what else?
Their people.
Kind of.
Their money.
Their labor, their resources, whatever.
Brain drain. gonna start
exactly.
shouting out
I
words.
mean, like, I feel like you kind of know where this is going, right? Where
Okay, wait. Let's go back. We're talking about fascism.
okay.
Let's bring it
Wait,
back.
wait. So yeah. So anyway, so what did Miss Albright say about fascism?
Oh, I just started. I don't know yet.
She
That's
just,
why.
she
That's
just said
like,
the word fascism.
fascism.
I'm
Yeah.
interested.
Yeah. No. Well, then I was like, you know what? This is a good topic for Dougie. Okay.
Wait, what's the book topic though?
Fascism.
No, I mean like the book is on fascism.
It's her view take on it.
Oh, did
But
this
again,
recently come out?
I haven't even.
Wait, was she alive during the Holocaust or
I believe she was
like a
8
kid?
when her family had to flee. Let's
So-
see.
oh.
Wait. Like her birth. Oh, fuck. No, really?
What?
Oh. She was born May 15th, 1937.
Okay.
She
So-
died March 23rd, 2022. So it's like almost a year since she died.
Oh,
That's
so it's
why-
just like a posthumous like book release then?
Well, no, again, I read, not to say I read books on time. I read books
Okay.
when I want to read books.
Well, let's just go back to fascism then, I guess. So yeah, she was born obviously, and so she was in Germany, and then her family fled to the United States during that time, or
It was published in 2018.
I mean her.
I know. Yes, that's my understanding of it.
Okay. So I think there are definitely a debate on what fascism exactly is. There's like a lot of like, when did it exactly start? Blah, blah, blah. I guess the official definition of fascism started in the early 20th century.
What's 20th century?
1900s.
That's what I thought.
Like I think it was like Benito Mussolini in Italy who kind of like came up with the concept, or not the concept, but like started a kind of political movement based on nationalism, like returning to your roots, and like imperialism, right? Like because Italy used to be where the Roman Empire was centered on,
And they're so great.
and they were like, the Roman Empire is kind of like America in a way, where it used its military to kind of take over other places and put it under its control and dominance.
Oh, I was like, when I think of Roman Empire, I think of baths and men bathing together.
I think that's Greek. I think you're thinking about Greece.
I'm pretty sure they did that in Rome too.
I think some of that carried over, but I think
Yeah.
that started in Greece.
Even if it started in Greece, I still think about that with Roman men.
Okay. Well, as you may be aware, Roman Empire was one of the largest empires at the time. They had a lot of territory, and it was a lot of military rule, and it's kind of like you were able, because of your military strength, to extract resources and people, whatever, from the empire, right?
Et tu, Brutus? Sorry. I'll stop.
Yes, that is when it turned from Caesar was killed, but yeah. Anyway, the Roman Empire, as you know, obviously fell. I think after time, people get sick of being ruled over, and there was a lot of rebellions here and there, blah blah. And when you get too big for too long, you become complacent, and you don't like, you're not as good at ruling like you were before.
Are you talking about
Anyway.
America?
Right. So then Italy wanted to just like replicate that, though, like the idea of like military strength and a return to kind of like dominance, because like it was saying that Italy didn't have enough colonies or whatever in order to like be economically strong, so it needed to go out and get some more or whatever. And this was in the mid to 1910s. This is when World War I was going on.
Oh, yes.
And that was kind of like, France and England and Germany and even Russia, they were pretty much the big boys that had other colonies and whatever, like England especially the most, all around the world. But as you know, French had Vietnam or Indochina and parts of Africa as well. And Germany, I forgot which, I think Germany had parts of Africa, but I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, fascism is kind of like the idea that there needs to be a return to national strength. There needs to be a military that kind of gets us done. Like we need to go out and get our shit. It's kind of like capitalism in its most unashamed form. It's kind of like, this is what we're going to do. We're done. Like, there's nothing left here to take over, so we got to go out and get ours, right? And so
terrible.
You're looking at me like,
this is terrible.
right? So then, after World War One,
it's gone.
No.
Oh.
World War One. After World War One was when it started to become really popular.
Oh no. This is terrible.
So after World War One, Europe is in complete shambles, right? It's like there's
Oh yeah.
for the first time there was modern warfare. It was like, do you know like trench warfare? Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah. So do you know about that time? It was like really like brutal and like especially to the working class, right? Like,
yeah.
I think there wasn't like a modern war before that, but this was the first time they had modern machinery, kind of modern technology, like machine guns and like, you know, like mustard gas, like chemical warfare and mustard gas and all this like terrible.
And then no man's land.
Yeah, exactly. Because like in the 1800s.
Please keep going. Come on, we're moving it. We're moving
sorry.
it. I was like.
So basically, it was brutal. That's all you need to know about it. And people were like, "What the hell?
How has it progressed?
Why did we fight for these rich people?
Yeah.
When we just got killed, like
Yeah.
they just threw us in like in the middle. So there was a lot of like resentment or whatever in Germany, especially because Germany lost. Germany lost World War One, and so it had to pay massive reparations to England and France. And you know the Europe as a whole is already like fucked up. So then Germany had to be like pay even more to France and even be more fucked up. So then there was another ideology that was growing in Europe, which was communism, right? There was a Russian Revolution just happened in 1917 during World War One, and so like there was this movement of like even all around Europe of like, oh, maybe communism is the thing for us. But then like so in Germany there was this government. It used to be like a monarchy called it wasn't, instead of a king, it's called the Kaiser.
Oh yeah.
And so the Kaiser abdicated his throne, and a new government called the Weimar Republic kind of formed, which is more kind of like a democracy, like a Western style democracy. They killed the Bolsheviks, which were the communists.
The rich people. Oh wait, no.
No, Bolsheviks were the communists
from Russia.
So there was a faction in Germany that wanted to have Soviet style communism for Germany, but they killed them with the right wingers in Germany, and then they started this own democracy movement. But then because the German economy was failing so terribly because of, you know, the overall war effects, and now that they had to pay all this money to France, not only that, they also had to like apologize, say, oh, it was our fault. So there's this guy, you might know him, his name's Adolf Hitler. He was a person who fought in this war
and survived.
And he actually won an Iron Cross for his valor or whatever. And he was saying this and like, wait, how did we lose? We weren't supposed to lose. We're German. Like, German people, this is our culture. This is, you know, we are supposed to be blah, blah, blah. And so like somebody must have stabbed us in the back. Somebody must have betrayed us. So
did someone betray them?
No.
Oh, he was just making up shit. Okay.
Yeah, they just lost straight up.
He was just a sore loser.
Yeah, they just lost straight up. But then like they were like, somebody betrayed us. Oh, it's those people in the Weimar Republic. They were socialists. And who are those socialists? Those socialists are the Jews.
Ah, damn.
Oh, those Jews in Russia? We got to kill Russia. Like, we got to take back our living space. We got to take back or whatever. And we got to, get back to strength again. So then there was like the Nazis were a kind of fascism where you use your military strength to take over other kind of like territories for your own gain. And you have these ultra nationalist kind of like sentiments where you're trying to expel kind of different types of
Pause. How did Germany become, I guess, a powerhouse again when they fucking got their asses destroyed?
Right. So then that's the thing. Like, after they got their asses destroyed, there was a long period of like suffering.
Thanks for repeating what I said.
And then 1929, actually almost all of Europe was still suffering for a while. And then the Great Depression happens, right?
In Russia or America?
All over the world. So,
dang.
So actually the Roaring 20s was when America gained its economic dominance, because at the time electricity was this new invention, and they used it to like do the assembly line stuff. You know, Ford was making all of his cars or whatever, and since they weren't fucked up by World War One, they had all the stuff like moving and they started like growing the economy. So then the economy started, like world economy started improving during the Roaring '20s, but America gained a lot of that share. And then once the 1929 hit, that's when the Great Depression happened, and that's when actually Hitler started to get more powerful because like Germans were like,
because everyone's so poor and
oh
suffering.
fuck, we're fucked up. Like, what's going on?
Why are you making everyone like Wayne or from Wayne's World?
Oh, is that from Wayne's World?
I don't know. Just the way your mannerisms was just like, you know.
We're getting fucked up, man.
Exactly.
you told me to come up with a new
I
expression.
did.
'cause
No,
was doing this all the
seriously.
time.
No, please don't do
now
that.
I'm doing this.
No, but except you still did this. Okay, so you're just.
People are angry right now.
And people are begging right now. Okay. My goodness.
So they needed something to blame, right? They in order
then
to
fascism
explain
took off.
something. Yeah. So,
But still, how did they get powerful in terms of, yes, they got the people, but they don't have the machinery or the.
right. So then the Nazis did like kind of like improve a lot of processes. They focused on different kind of industrialization processes in the nation, like a lot of it had to do with military.
Yeah.
Right.
Sounds like it.
They're like, oh, we need to fucking get our shit like
Together.
Yeah. We need to go out and get it. So then what they started to do is like just take a little bit of territory. It was like, oh, this was already ours, so we're just gonna take that again, you know.
What?
So like France and England were kind of like, all right, you know, fair enough, you know, you guys suffered a little bit, so maybe we'll back off, right? And then Germany's like, huh, okay, this is ours. And like, this is ours.
And this is ours. And all of this is ours.
Yeah.
Oh.
Basically, that was happening from 1933 to 1939, when eventually
For 6 years?
invaded Poland, right? Because
yeah.
that's when England and France was like, no, this is this line in the sand. We
want Poland.
But like, I guess Germany at the time, they were also the Nazis used like these false propaganda tactics, because like, you know, everyone in Germany, they weren't all on board with the Nazis. But then they were convinced because the Nazis would tell them different stories about what was actually happening.
Propaganda.
Right? Exactly.
Finest.
So then there was like Operation Himmler, which was why they justified invading Poland. They were saying they basically put German agents in Poland to like attack German nationals in Poland.
Oh my goodness.
And then say, look, they're attacking us. You know, it's
okay,
like
continue, please.
Yeah.
What is fascism? And
so
moving on. You don't even get
In essence, fascism, sorry, this is a long-winded explanation, but fascism is just unashamed capitalism. It's like.
Does it still persist today? If so, where?
I mean, I would say.
America.
Yeah. In my opinion, fascism is like. It's like on a scale of capitalism, right? It's like.
Yeah.
It's like
the very end.
Yeah, the very end of capitalism or capitalism fascism. You know, this is like a little like we're still in like liberalism, which is like liberalism's ultimate end is fascism, but we're not quite at fascism yet.
Terrible.
But what I would say is that the United States still is fascist in the way that not in the way that it deals with people domestically, but how it deals with people abroad. So it uses military might to kind of enforce certain trade laws or trade regulations or get the CIA to depose people, whatever.
I call bullshit on that because let's be real. The people in power, if they don't like something in America, trust me, they're gonna find the internal forces to flesh out what they don't like inside the country. Because you're talking about external things. They're also internal things.
Wait, explain that again? Sorry.
Just like, because you're saying that how does America work in terms of fascism? You're saying against external threats.
They're not threats, though. They are...
Just external anything. But I think internally as well, there's control. There's this idea of control.
But similar to Germany, you remember you were like, how did it get powerful? Well, they started grabbing... That's what we're doing. That's after...
What are we grabbing?
1945. Do you know how the U.S. Navy started? So back before 1945, we didn't really have like, I mean, we did do some imperialism. Like we grabbed the Philippines, we grabbed like parts of the, you know, the
Hawaii.
Virgin Islands, whatever, Hawaii. I think like the entire westward expansion was grabbing territory, right? Using military
Puerto
power.
Rico.
Right. So that's why I say like fascism isn't like, it didn't just start, in my opinion, in 1910 with Italy, whatever. It started a long time ago when Europe started to kind of like colonize other places. It just like when people protested against it, protested slavery, they were like, oh, it's because we have to civilize them. You know, we're actually doing them a favor.
Terrible.
You know, that's what they would say. But people back then were like, okay, that makes sense. But that to me, in a way, is fascism. It's just like not called fascism because enough people were on board with it. But like, yeah, the United States is kind of doing the same thing that it does then. So yeah, so then early 1900s, takes over the Philippines, whatever. But it doesn't have that much of a navy because like it's not trying to take over the world because a lot of the colonies are taken by Europe. After 45, though, all of these places are weakened to the immense thing. And a lot of Nazi gold seems to disappear. And so soon afterwards, like maybe 5 to 10 years after, there's a lot of ships coming out of the United States.
Funded by Nazi gold? You're going to have to fact check that next time.
I mean, it's somewhat of a conspiracy theory.
Okay, then don't fact check it.
It can't be fact checked exactly, but the Nazi gold is unaccounted for. And you see these, the most...
Where did the Nazis get that gold from?
A lot of it came from, the Jews.
Exactly. Okay, moving on. You know what we didn't do? Fact check from last time.
Oh, which one? Oh, which one? Jehovah's Witness?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Are we doing that now?
Yeah.
You're satisfied with the fascism?
Yeah. I don't need any more.
So yeah, I guess I did a little research, not too much. I already kind of knew a little bit about the Mormons. So the Mormons were kind of like I think they were like the first like big cult that came out of like the United States.
Do I really want this fact check?
I don't know if you know the name Joseph Smith.
Yeah.
He was kind of the originator.
Yeah.
In the 1920s around.
I went to history in high school.
Yeah. Did you watch the Book of Mormon?
Yes.
It's actually quite informative.
I did not like it.
Really?
I left halfway. I was like, I can't do this.
Really? I liked it. Where did you watch it? Pantages?
You're also a fan, I'm sure, of South Park.
No. I mean, like, I'm not a huge fan because I didn't really have cable growing up, so I didn't really watch it.
I never watched it either, but I also am not a fan, so I was like, I don't want to.
I guess I'm just like a fan of musicals in general,
Oh, I did not know that about you.
Turn it off like a light switch and go quick.
Okay, please continue.
Okay. So then he started this movement, I guess, in New York.
That was in New York?
Yeah.
Huh.
But then he got a lot of hate, so he had to run over to Utah
That's a fucking distance, dude.
to spread his propaganda.
Dude, I wonder how many places he stopped to try to actually do it. And it's like, nope. Utah? Yup.
So it's kind of like crazy because he was able to like convince people that these gold plates taught him like all this stuff about Mormonism. He wrote this entire book of like religion down, and today I think it's the most popular. I don't know. I guess
good job. He's
some
got
people
good
call it
marketing.
religion, some people call it cult, but apparently I looked it up. They've got $40 billion in assets.
Dude, yeah.
So I'm like, holy shit, this is some successful cult.
Dude, no, they've got so much real estate, like a lot.
Yeah. So and this $40 billion was only like the stock holdings. So yeah, the real estate holdings might be even more than that or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But
is that a Primo location they got on Santa Monica?
Is it a temple or is it a?
It's a temple.
Oh, okay.
Primo.
Have you ever been in one of like these?
No,
temples?
I've never been.
Yeah, I feel like too freaked out.
Why? What do you think's gonna happen?
I
Do you
don't
think
know.
that
They're gonna turn me into a Mormon?
I was like, do you think the energy's weird?
Possibly.
What if you came with sage?
I do believe a little bit in spiritual energy type stuff. What about you? Do you
Oh, well, I guess, but also like a vibe of a place. If it's kind of weird, I'm like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I would feel like. I'd be like, because I did grow up in the Christian tradition, and so they told us a lot about Mormonism and like
Did
why
they?
it's bad.
Oh, okay. Move on to Jehovah Witnesses.
Oh yeah, but they have
It's still
16.8 million people.
Oh god.
Right. So Jehovah's Witnesses is a little bit more recent. It's 1881 when they started, I think, and they started in Pittsburgh. They are more of kind of like an Armageddon cult. They predicted the end of the world wrongly many times.
Nice.
But I guess like the current line is that Jesus returned in 1914, and he's already the second coming has already happened, but he has yet to reveal himself to the world. And that stuff like when they all die, they'll be resurrected when their basically souls go to sleep. And when Jesus makes himself known, everyone's going to come back from the dead. It said like 144,000 based on the Book of Revelation. It's basically a more fundamentalist, like, we don't want to talk about any of the Protestant or Catholic stuff. We want to go all the way back to 100 AD or like 0 AD Christianity. So they take the Bible literally. They basically say anything that's explained by the Bible is literal. Like, no dinosaurs, no whatever. This is, they're very like the fundamental of the fundamental.
So how do they live their lives?
I'm not exactly sure about that. I think they are just super religious. It is more of like a cult thing where it's funny we talked about fascism because I feel like the way they control their people is pretty fascist. It's like, you're going to do what we say because like,
people need structure in their lives. Some people like structure, so.
Right. But this is a little bit too much structure. I know it's probably
it's your
ironic,
opinion.
Coming from a communist because, there is that argument as well for communism. But I don't know. I haven't read too much, but it does seem like a little dicey. But yeah, they don't have as much. I think they only have like a $1.5 billion. There are like 8 million people that adhere to it. Probably just didn't get that, funding, whatever.
I mean, that's still a good amount. That's a good chunk of people.
Yeah. I think this is harder to probably convince people because like, they got it wrong so many times.
Well, you've also got to learn so many languages. I'd be like, oh man,
is that Jehovah's? I thought that was Mormons though.
No, it's Jehovah's Witnesses riding on the bikes.
Are you sure those? Then who are the? What? Don't Mormons have to like learn a lot? Because they're going out to Uganda and stuff or whatever.
Maybe they too have to learn a lot of languages.
Imperialism.
Gosh, man. I mean, let's be real. We got to start learning languages.
Yeah. And then there are the Scientologists. So
we don't need to talk about that.
Oh, okay. You don't want to talk?
Fine, go ahead.
I mean, it's not too much. I mean, like, so it started in the 1950s by this guy, Hubble.
So recent.
Yeah, it's not really about Christianity. It's just kind of like this Ron L. Hubbard, I think is his name. He started this idea that like the world can be explained through philosophy, psychology, and science or physics. Like
Interested.
Trying to combine all these elements into like there's a spirituality in science and whatever.
Interested.
And he also kind of like created this way of I would say brainwashing, but he would call it, cleansing of the mind or whatever.
Oh yeah, I've heard of this.
Dianetics. Where have you watched that movie with
No.
Phillips? Okay, it's like this. It's called The Master, I think. It's Philip Seymour Hoffman and what's his name? The guy who played Joker, Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh.
But I've seen scenes, but it looks like psychological manipulation.
Nice.
But yeah, in this thing, you kind of have to also like pay for these sessions, and then like when you pay for these sessions, and like you improve your Dianetics or whatever, then you move up the rankings or whatever. So it's really like more of a religion for rich people. Because like you got to pay a lot of money for these things to move up the
I think
ranks.
I've heard from previous people about like they couldn't hang because they don't have enough money.
Yeah. So I think this only has like not as many people because it's not as popular.
That's not a number.
So they say they have 3.5 million followers. I don't think that's true because like they say that like out of a survey there was only like 55,000 people willing to say out loud that they were Scientologists.
Well, there's a lot of hate.
Right. And so, yeah, they actually do have a lot of money, though. They have as much money as the Jehovah's Witnesses.
They do?
$1.5 billion. Yeah, so we got like people like, Tom Cruise and Will Smith probably getting up that
Wait,
level,
is he a
level 9.
Scientologist?
I think so. I think both of them are. But yeah, they got there in Los Angeles. They have their Scientology. You've seen that Scientology building on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On
Sunset.
Fountain.
Oh, there's one in Compton too.
I said Fountain.
Fountain. Yeah.
Yeah. In order to have dinner at the one in Los Feliz,
Yeah.
you have to get a tour.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this is more of like a bourgeois cult.
I mean, it's gonna appeal to people, and guess what? Great networking opportunity. Let's be real.
Yeah.
All right. So we do have a question.
Our first question.
All right. It says, "Hey, just want to say, new format is great. Oh, thank you. Truly feel like a real conversation now instead of a one-man manifesto.
All right.
Can you guys list your social handles? Can you list that in the bottom?
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, did you want yours? Because I know you want.
Yeah, mine's private, but I guess if y'all slide in a message that y'all are coming through this, then I'll accept you.
Yeah.
But I
Don't be
deleted
weird.
mine. I deleted mine previously, so my content looks very sparse.
Yeah.
And I don't.
And just don't be
often.
weird. All right.
Yeah, don't be weird, or maybe be super weird.
Yeah.
It's either be weird or don't be weird. Okay. Also, a question
Don't be
for
mid
you.
weird.
Yeah, don't be mid. Okay, boring. In the last episode, you sort of joked about moving to Asia as an option. I, in fact, moved to Taiwan recently. I would like you to elaborate on if moving to, or at least staying long-term in Asia, is a real solution for you or not. Thanks, Ian. Thanks, Ian.
So yeah, I think I made a recent kind of like tweet thread, kind of explaining how ultimately, in the iteration of America that this is, it's not really a place where Asians can live long term. At least Asian men, the way that we are not really accepted in this country. It just like,
And you'll probably get beaten when you get older.
yeah, or like
Shot.
yeah, exactly. But even like I've read even studies about nursing homes, and they've seen that like Asian people, when they're in these predominantly white nursing homes, they like I think they are more likely to die or commit suicide or whatever faster because like they're just not accepted by the other people, or they're racist or whatever.
I mean, will that be the same case for our generation?
I mean, I don't know. I just don't want to stick around to find out, I guess.
Yeah, you don't know. Okay, smart. Okay.
So I think like especially for an Asian guy, it's just like obviously when our parents came here, it was for, or at least my parents, it was mostly for economic reasons. There was just like a lot more economic opportunity in America versus Korea, because Korea was not as economically developed at the time. I think that is less of the case these days. So there's less of a reason really for Koreans or just really Asians in general, because like a lot of Asia, even China is a lot more economically developed. And like,
So to go back, are you going to move?
Oh, I mean, for me personally, yes. I think the question was both eventually, but not, I think.
But when?
It probably like depends on when my parents pass away.
Okay, yeah, I was going to ask you like what.
That's the biggest thing probably keeping me here for now, because I'm like, it'd be terrible if an American Holocaust happened and I just left my parents behind.
I didn't come back.
Bye, guys.
Wait, can you not bring them with you? Do they not want to go?
They don't want to go back to, so.
Are you kidding me? But Korea's awesome.
Yeah, so my mom might want to go these days now. Before she was like, no, I don't want to go. Like,
okay, she's a
she's
fucking Republican liberal.
She's not actually Republican. She's just like, she likes her space. She likes living in the suburbs. In Korea, it's a little bit more crowded.
You can't have suburbs, or you don't have suburbs.
I mean, most of the people that she would know lives in Seoul, which is like the city area. And it's just like she's used to her church group. She's used to her, the people she's lived there for 40 years, right? So it's. She hasn't lived in Korea. There's also that kind of culture shock too, right? So it's not like she's been back and forth.
She'll adapt fine.
Like the last time I think she's been in Korea was like over 10 years ago, I think.
We should totally go to Korea.
I mean, I might go this year. They're thinking of visiting in September.
Can I come?
Sure, I guess. I don't even know what the plan is, but yeah.
Hey, Mom, I brought my friend along.
We'll
She
do
does
an
a podcast
episode
with
there.
me.
We'll do a
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, Korea, let us know if you want us to come through.
Sponsor us and our communist podcast.
Okay, no, it's not that. It's a conversation podcast.
Yes, it's a conversation podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, my dad also, he's probably more wanting to go than my mom, but then apparently like the air quality in South Korea is not that great.
Is it worse than LA?
Yeah. So unfortunately, it is true that like there is a lot of CO2 emissions from China that blows.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. So they actually have to wear masks, not just for coronavirus, but in general, because like the air is so dirty.
That's
that,
terrible.
Like, when they blow their nose, it's all like full of black soot.
You could move to Taiwan and like be friends with Ian.
Yeah, but my parents wouldn't want to do Taiwan.
But have they
probably.
been to Taiwan?
It doesn't matter.
It's got great public transportation.
If they go to Asia,
delicious.
it's just gonna be Korea or nothing.
They make sure to
actually. So the food is one of the biggest draws for my mom. I think just like
for Korea or Taiwan.
Yeah, Korea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she did say she'll probably move once my dad's. I don't know. Everyone's assuming my dad's gonna go before my mom, but
Duh.
But yeah, so if that happens, I would be much more ready to leave. But I
So
feel
you're
like,
actually going to do it, and it's for long term?
yeah, this would be for probably the rest of my life.
Oh, dude, a place that I could always crash. Please move.
Like how you're only thinking, how can this benefit me?
Yeah, I'm American. I'm sorry.
I'm a merc.
Oh my God. Yo, Ian, can you drop down the comments section if it's true? Do all Taiwanese people smoke? Is it a thing? Do you have to pick up that habit?
I think that's Asia in general. Like a lot of South Korean people smoke. Like
I don't know. I don't think I don't think Vietnamese people smoke to the extent that I've heard Taiwanese people.
what have you heard in Taiwan?
Oh, that you're gonna pick up a smoking habit. Oh, and just to let you know, I'm not sure. Did I tell you? It's not true about Vietnam's public schooling where you have to learn how to assemble
really?
a gun. Yeah,
What did they say, or where did you hear?
that's not a thing that they do.
Oh, from a Vietnamese person?
Yeah, my sister's boyfriend who grew up in Vietnam.
Oh, I guess the person who said it was Da Nang. Is that like not a thing?
Nang.
Da Nang.
I mean, he's in Hanoi, which is northern.
Nang Na.
Good job.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, thank you so much for watching the podcast.
Wait, but
What?
I mean, I wanted to also explain about like the mentality of like why I wanted to move to Asia.
Yeah, because it's better than in America.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not just because of the material thing or the hate crimes or really.
Oh, you want to find a wife?
Nah. Well, there's part of that because I do feel like American women, I'm just like, nah, these days,
Is it because you're saying no, or is it because they're saying no?
It's because I'm saying no.
All right, okay.
I think there's just stuff about Western culture that I just don't jive with anymore.
Is it the fact that you have to talk about your emotions? You have to be...
No, not even. It's the fact that... This will be a whole different podcast, but just suffice to say,
interesting. Maybe we'll dive into that
there's
next
stuff
week.
about liberal feminism that I just do not agree with, and there's contradictions in it that I'm just like, this is such hypocrisy. And so,
okay, this will be next time.
yeah, we'll get into it some other time. But suffice to say, that's just how I feel about that, and it's like one of the reasons. But like, I think the primary reason is just kind of like, I just went to, when I went to Vietnam and Singapore last year, or I went to Korea also
Privilege.
6 years ago.
Not privilege.
Wait, why is it privilege if I go to Vietnam and Singapore?
Just the opportunity to travel.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, privilege. But I guess like, there's just like this feeling of like welcoming. And this doesn't have to be for an Asian guy or a woman. I feel like there's just like welcoming of like, you're part of the family. Like even in Vietnam, like, I'd be riding on the, back of a moped because like, the guy's like riding, driving the moped, in Vietnam. That's how
I
you get
know,
around.
dude.
Yeah. So, but then like, I'd be just like, being the stupid fucking tourist, just like, being like,
Yeah,
oh,
why are they doing that? Because you're a fucking tourist.
yeah, but they were like laughing at me, but they were also like, like, but there, I don't know. There was just like this energy, right? This energy, of just like this, he's funny, but like, he's,
I mean, you'll always be other.
Sure, but I can't explain it. Yes, there's a language barrier and there's whatever. There,
Well, yeah,
I'm an
especially if you're
American,
trying to move to Vietnam, you're gonna have to learn a lot of accents.
but like there was I just felt like there was a connection.
Yeah.
And there's just like a friendliness. Like I would talk to like random people in Vietnam as well, and we would just like have conversations. I just feel like that's not existed in America, especially for Asians. But even like 20 years ago, I feel it was more existing in America. But I feel like these days, everyone's just much more closed off. Maybe it's due to social media, blah, 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 whatever. But
Also,
I feel
COVID did a fucking number on people in terms of communication and socializing.
Exactly.
Stuff.
And I just feel like, I don't know. So that's why in this year, I'm going to do a lot of traveling. I'm going to go to Shenzhen. I'm going to go to Hanoi. I'm going to, just all these other cities that I want to visit just to feel if I'm ready to make the move, do a little scouting, see for myself.
All right, please, in the comments section, do let us know if you're an American who's moved abroad and how it's worked out for you, if you're still there, if you've moved back.
And if you're considering staying there, but life.
Yeah. And again, feel free to hit us up on the grams.
The grams, I will be listing whatever social media you want to put on.
Yeah.
You don't have a Twitter, right?
I do, but it's very inactive.
Yeah, that's fine. probably our Instagram. I'll list whatever. But yeah, see in the comments below. And is there anything else?
Well, I was just say thank you so much for spending your time with us tonight.
Thank you. Come
day.
again.
Yeah. Bye.
See you.